Hey everyone, this is Pam with Perfectly Holistic. We are about to go live for the Perfectly Holistic Radio Show, and I am just going to sit here for a couple minutes until I log on. So if you are watching, go ahead and drop a comment in the box, the chat box, and happy Monday, everyone. Hope you've had a great weekend. We'll just give it a couple minutes before we jump in and get started. So hang tight. Okay. So we are streaming tonight on our Perfectly Holistic Facebook page, YouTube channel, and Twitter. So drop us a line if you are live. If you are joining us, I'd love to see where you're coming from, where you're hailing from, what part of the country, what part of the world. And you can also drop in some questions in a little bit too, because I am going to be taking some questions here, probably the second half of the show. Okay. Let's watch in the time. All right. Okay. It's dropping in a comment. All right. Let's go ahead and call in to News for the Soul. You guys can listen if you are driving around. You can listen at newsforthesoul.com. There is a listen live button that you can push, and it is recorded, so you can check it out later if you want to.
Blog Talk Radio. Your show is scheduled to start in 37 seconds. Welcome to Blog Talk Radio. Please hold and you will be able to listen to the show.
Can I do this right now?
Hey, Vicky, how are you?
This is Nicole Whitney, News for the Soul, life-changing talk radio from the uplifting to the unexplained.
You are listening to the News for the Soul Radio Network. News for your soul. Life-changing broadcasts to souls around the world since January 1997.
Next on News for the Soul Radio, it's time for Perfectly Holistic with Pam. Pam is a cat mom and holistic health seeker who, after suffering an injury that wouldn't heal, was led on a journey to seek out alternative, holistic, and natural medicine. She now shares what she learned, helping people and their cats along their path to holistic health. Pam has taken courses in holistic health for animals, muscle testing, and animal communication. Please welcome Pam. Back to News for the Soul.
Hey there, everyone. Welcome to the Perfectly Holistic Radio Show. I hope you've had a great weekend and a good start to your week. So happy Monday to everyone out there. It has been a very interesting last, I would say, 4 weeks. The topic of the show tonight is called moving with cats. And if you guys have ever moved at least once in your life, you know what kind of a chore that is. It's very, very, let's just say it's challenging. You know, there's a lot to do. There's a lot to think about, a lot of preparations that need to be made. And if you have pets, it kind of ramps that up a little bit because there's a lot of stress involved and there's a lot of change. And if you have cats, you know that cats really don't like change. They like routine. They like their systems. And when things start to throw wrenches into their routines and systems, it can get a little interesting. And so we're going to talk about that tonight. So if you guys have questions, you are welcome to drop them into the chat on our YouTube channel, on Facebook, and on Twitter, because I can see them all. So I think that's really, really cool. And so let's see. I'm going to, sounds good. Okay, so talking to my producer here. So we are welcome to technology. I'm learning on the go, you know, so this is kind of fun. So let's talk about moving. Let's see. So I guess it was on my birthday. Let's start there. So got a contract on our home and it was very exciting and very easy. And all of a sudden we have we've sold our house. So I'm like, okay, now I have to find a place to live. So that's kind of exciting and kind of stressful at the same time. So all that worked out. And so start packing boxes. And it fortunately, it wasn't like a mad rush. And I had a few weeks to get things organized. So starting to clear out everything. And the cats start to notice that, you know, there was boxes coming in. And then, you know, cats love boxes. So they would jump in stuff and they would sniff everything and they would try to figure out why all of a sudden our house is a total mess. And I'm such a neat freak and an organized person. So it really drove me crazy living in that kind of chaos and dishevelment for so long. But it all worked out. So the kitties were very curious about all the boxes and of course all the paper and all the plastic and but we kept their eating, you know, schedules the same, play sessions, going outside as much as we could, because I think as much as you can, if you can keep those regular routines going, it really, really helps address their stress levels. So that's always really good. So we started to sell furniture and stuff that I didn't want to take with me, and just kind of downsizing a 3,500 square foot home to 1,500 square foot home is very, very challenging. So you kind of figure out what you don't need in life and what you're ready to get rid of. And so did a lot of purging. So there was a lot of strangers coming in and out, picking stuff up, taking stuff out that we didn't want anymore. And so, when you have strangers coming in and out, some cats are really friendly and just, do well with that. And others are just kind of skittish and kind of hang back. And so you have to be respectful of your cat's personality and address things as they come up. My cats were most of the time, they were just very curious and inquisitive. They didn't act real fearful, but they did start to wonder. I could see it in their faces, like, where's our furniture going? What happened to the bar stools? Where's our sofa? Because we had two. So one got sold, and one of their beds was sitting on the chair. So that got sold. And so their bed was moved to the floor. And so, I just kind of rearranging stuff. And it was very curious to see them adapt in those situations and circumstances. I think they did really, really well. One of the things that I'm going to back up here. So one of the things that I started doing early December was taking Aylin, who is the baby. She's only been on one road trip with us before. And we drove all the way to Montana. She was 9 months old, and she was awesome, but she hasn't really gone anywhere in a long time. And so I started taking her on short car rides, and I would put her in the harness because I think that makes cats feel a little bit more secure. Kind of like a thunder shirt what you would get for a dog who's afraid of lightning and loud noises and things. It just kind of wraps them up and makes them feel very secure. So I put her in harness, and we would go to the pet stores, and I would just carry her in, and she would just sit on my shoulder with her little claws, just, grabbing onto me and just wondering, where are we? But she never tried to jump down. She was very well behaved. People would pet her and just talk to her, and it was really fun. But she had, really big eyes, and she was like, oh my gosh, where are we? But she did amazingly well. So I was preparing her for several hours in the car for this move. And I think she did very, very well. I would recommend, if you're going to have a long transition for a move, that you start putting the pet carriers or kennels out ahead of time and just leave them as part of the furniture in your home. Let them go in and out of them so it's not a stressful sign that they're going to the vet or anything like that. If you can take little short trips in the car, whether you put them in a harness or whether you put them in a carrier or whatever, and just, drive around the block a couple times and then come back home to get them used to the fact that, hey, we're going on a ride, but we're not going to the vet. We're just going to go around and we're going to come back home. And so it just prepares them a little bit for the big move, for the car ride and all that. It's also great for if you have to take a cat to the vet, just to get them acclimated to being in the car, being in the carrier. But it's also great if you can do that without going to the vet so that they don't always associate the carrier and the car ride with the vet visit. So I love doing that. We spent a lot of time doing playtime and giving extra attention, a lot of reassurance over the last several weeks. Aylin especially was really, really clingy. And I think it was just her insecurity of going, what is going on? She really wanted to be held a lot. She wanted to be snuggled, which of course I love all that. So that was fine with me. But I noticed that demeanor changed just a little bit at certain times. So giving your cats a lot of extra attention and just reassurance goes a really long way. And just talk to them, tell them this is what's going to happen. And this is our plan. And you're coming with me. So you may see all these belongings and stuff going out the door, but don't worry, you are coming with me and we are moving as a family. Because I do believe on some level they understand what we say. So we just have to say it and keep saying it and just reassure them. So on the day of the move, it was very interesting because I was trying to figure out where are we going to put the cats when the movers come. But it all worked out because rather than upset them, they have a pumpkin cat bed, which is, a little hidey hole. And it's enclosed all around them. And Aylin and Gunnar love to sleep in there. And so they were sleeping in there and cuddling, which was great. So we just put a blanket over the whole cat bed. So now they have this little, I don't know, igloo. They're covered. They can't see what's going on around them. They can hear noises, but they didn't get freaked out. In fact, they were sound asleep. And it worked out really great. So we just left the cat bed on the sofa with covered. And then Lily, she was in her little pink cat bed with the blanket over it, sound asleep the whole time, which was great. So that really, really goes a long way. So covering their kennels so that they don't get distracted by all the people and all the sounds and noises, I think it really helps reassure them. So that's something that I would recommend doing again. It worked for us really great. So, and then as far as when it came time to move them into the car, okay, so we're ready to go. We are packed up. We brought them in last. I had their big favorite bed. Actually, I brought their pumpkin bed and their big white, round, fluffy pillow bed and put it in the car, and with a blue blanket over everything. So the color blue is great for calming. It is a very soothing, calming color in the presence of fearful situations or stressful situations. So I put that in the bed, knowing that they may or may not sleep in it right away because they like to sit in our laps. So we're in the car and I have at least one cat, if not two, in my lap the whole time or at my feet. And that's fine. I just let them go wherever they want to go, wherever they feel the most comfortable and secure. And that was great. And after 2 hours into the ride, they were like in their cat beds and trying to sleep, which was great. So putting their stuff in, make it as normal as possible. It's their cat bed, their scents, and you could even just keep them in a kennel if you wanted to and cover it up. But if it's a long car ride, or if you know it's going to be a long day, you're going to have to put a cat litter box in the car, which we had. We had one big cat litter box in the back, and that way they could go in and out if they needed to go, because I really didn't know how long it was going to take to travel from our location in Houston to make 2 storage unit stops and then finally to our house, our new house. So, I would just say be prepared. I knew they weren't going to eat, cats, if they are on the road, probably not going to eat. Some cats are comfortable enough, but most of the time that, they might have a snack or two. But if they're out of their sorts, if they're anxious or whatever, they're probably not going to be real interested in food. So we gave them some water. I had some bottled water in the car. If they wanted it, I offered it to them because I had a big cup, and they all like to drink out of cups. So that was fine. Okay, so let's fast forward. So we finally arrived, and it's getting dark. It's wintertime, so the daylight savings and all that is no longer in place. So we finally arrived in Georgetown at the new house. I would say probably around 7 o'clock or so, 6:30 or 7. And it's dark outside, and the movers are showing up. They're right behind us. And rather than take them out of the car right away, where there's no place in the new house to really hide them to feel safe because it's all foreign, they don't know where they are, we just left them in the car. So that worked out really well because they've got their beds, they've got their kennels, they've got their blankets, and everything their scent is in there so that they feel more comfortable. And so we left them in there for a couple hours while the movers were just unloading everything and setting everything up. And it was probably 9 o'clock by the time we took them out of the car, unloaded their stuff, their litter box, and brought them in. And then it was really fun to see them meet their new house. So walking around and sniffing everything. But the great thing is they recognize their furniture and their scents and the clothes and all that. So it wasn't too foreign, which is great. And they settled right in. I was just so excited. They were so cute, and I couldn't wait to take them outside because I actually have a backyard now with fences. And so I waited a couple days before I actually took them outside, and I posted those videos on our channel. So you can, Facebook and Instagram and Twitter, if you want to take a look at those, exploring their backyard for the first time and their back patio and all that. It was really great. I must say, I did have to clear some emotional stuff from a couple of the kitties because they are a little bit more sensitive. So Aylin and Lily had to do some clearings for, and let me see in my notes here. Okay, so yeah, so it can be a little overwhelming, as you can imagine, just for us, for people to move, but overall, these two kitties needed a little extra energy work by the next day to kind of release some of that emotional stress. And so just kind of give you some ideas of the emotions that they were holding on to that needed to be released. Lily was moving plus confusion, anxiety, fear, and overwhelm. Makes a lot of sense. She's my shy little girl. And then Aylin, who is my naughty little girl, she was, I had to clear moving and panic, helplessness, insecurity, and overwhelm. So obviously it was a little challenging for her to decipher what was all going on. And I really think just leaving them in the car by themselves may have kind of scared her a little bit, even though we could see somebody, I don't know who it was, like put their paws up on inside the car on the window and just kind of looking out, watching everything. And it was funny. I'm like, somebody's watching. I think it may have been Gunner, but I couldn't see because it was kind of dark. But Aylin was hiding under the seat by the time we got to pull, them out of the car. So I think she got a little panicky, wondering, where's my family? So anyway, so I did some energy work the next day. It cleared a lot of emotions. And so, they all slept under the covers with me that night. It wasn't a big deal. They don't hide under the bed. They know where everything is, and they've just, it's chaos, but it's boxes and it's paper and it's kind of fun. And, cats, they love all that stuff. So that was really, really kind of fun and a lot easier than I thought it was going to be. So, yeah, I would say, looking back, if I could add anything, I would probably add like a box flower rescue remedy if necessary, but our cats are used to car rides more so than your typical cat. So I didn't really feel like it was necessary, but that might be something that you would consider if your cat's a really scaredy cat and needs that extra reassurance energetically. You can always use the box flower rescue remedy, and you would just put it on every 15 minutes until they calm down. So that's kind of the key there. Let me know if you guys have ever done any moving with your cats, and let me know how things went and turned out, if you had any issues. We've done a lot of road trips over the last several years. So the cats are really, really pretty accustomed to being in the car. So that wasn't really as big of a deal for Lily and Gunner. Aylin was a little bit more challenging. She's a little bit more clingy and needy, but she's doing really, really good. So I'm happy about that. I also, let's see. So yeah, I would just plan, if you're doing a big move, to think about color therapy, think about baby blue or blue colors that you can put in the car. Think about maybe using a harness to help them feel more secure, not with the big lead rope, leash, but just the harness itself can make them feel more comfortable. And make sure you spend some time with them, helping them acclimate to their new house with playtime and just extra attention and reassurance that everything's good. Keeping their scent on everything, bringing in their furniture, their beds. They have a cat tree here, so they all know where that is now. They know where their litter boxes are. It's pretty easy, and you may want to just prepare to schedule some energy work post move to clear any emotional blocks that they might be holding on to, that would help them just release and let go and acclimate to their new surroundings a little easier. Because the worst thing that could happen is those emotional imprints can actually imprint on food. So you might get, some vomiting and some diarrhea and things like that. In my experience, what I see a lot of times, cats who are going through some emotional blocks, they will imprint these on foods. And if it's right away, you start to notice the vomiting. It can be cleared pretty quickly. And sometimes they don't necessarily have all the vomiting, but they may have the diarrhea 4 or 5 days later. And that, again, in what I've experienced with clients, is it's just that emotional imprint on the food that just didn't agree with the body when it goes through its system, through the GI system, and creates that metabolic stress, and you end up getting the diarrhea and things like that. So clearing foods as stressors, clearing emotional blocks, clearing stressors like moving itself can be really, really helpful energetically to help them transition to their new surroundings. And it's funny because we have a backyard now, and there are dogs that live behind us and to the left of us. And 2 days ago, the dogs that live behind us broke through one of the boards in the fence and actually came into our yard. So luckily, the cats were inside at the time, but they hear barking, and they're not really sure what that barking is, because we didn't live near dogs that barked previously. So they're getting used to new noises outside, which is interesting. And so I'm probably going to have to do some energy work to clear barking and dogs eventually, because they were a little shy going outside today. It's because they heard the dogs barking in the yard next to us and behind us. And, hey, I totally get it, because dogs are so cool. And, they're like, oh, new neighbors, who's that over there? And are there kitty cats outside? And so, it's fun to see their expressions as they start to explore their new neighbors as well. So that is, that's kind of an overview of the moving. But if you guys have any specific questions about a move that you have coming up, or specific questions about products that or supplements or remedies that you could take, there are so many different things that you can use to just help that process go a lot smoother. So drop those in the comments if you need to, or if you have some questions, or share an experience that you had. If something went great that you used, I would love to know. I think it's all about sharing and caring. So feel free to drop it in and share with everyone. Okay, so let's move on to, if you guys have any specific questions in general, you're welcome to drop them into the comment box. And I've got a couple things I wanted to share with you guys tonight, apart from moving, that I thought was really interesting. I'm big into symbolism and animal totems and symbology. And when you start to see an animal like that you don't normally see, that's kind of getting your attention, is drawing your attention to something, because maybe it's repetitive. Maybe you see something that is kind of out of the ordinary, but you keep seeing it over and over again. That's usually a sign that that animal has a message for you, or there's a symbolism behind seeing that animal. And so it's interesting. Well, let me back up. When we moved in, of course, the doors were open a lot because people were coming and going all the time. And it was cold that night. And somehow there was a fly that got into the house, not surprisingly. But I didn't really have a lot of flies coming into the house in Houston. So this fly was particularly pesky. You know, all of a sudden it would be like all around your face or your head. It would somehow show up in the bathroom. That's where I was. It would be here in the kitchen if that's where I was. And it was just visible. And it was, you know, on the counter. It was like getting into stuff. And it was catching my attention until I finally realized, hey, there might be a message. And so, crazy me, I always think there's something energetic going on, and I'm usually right. So I muscle tested to see if the fly had a message, if there was a symbol of some kind that I was missing. And sure enough, I got a yes. So I came over and finally took some time to Google fly symbolism. And it's really cool. So wherever you are, if you start to see something a lot, just go onto Google or DuckDuckGo and just Google symbolism of whatever animal, insects, whatever, and just see all the search, the articles and stuff that pop up for that particular animal or whatever, because it's really, really fascinating. And it doesn't have to be just animal. It can be shooting stars. It can be trees. It's so interesting, but just look it up. So I went online and I found fly symbolism, and there was a lot of stuff. But I am going to read you some of this cool stuff because I had never looked at fly symbolism before. And then I'll give you a little background. So fly symbolism, a fly symbolizes motivation, its role being to push you forward until you achieve your goal. And the symbolism of a fly is also associated with wealth and abundance. Even in a harsh environment, the fly triumphs over misery, managing to feed and breed. Now think about that for a second. That is really, really accurate, you know, and I never really thought about that before. But I'm going to keep going, and then I'm going to tell you something else. So much like the butterfly, the fly symbolism lets you know that quick and abrupt changes in your thoughts, emotions, and endeavors are afoot. Moreover, these rapid changes in all aspects of your life are happening now. Therefore, move quickly, even in unfavorable and uncomfortable conditions. Similar to the rabbit, fly meaning can also signify that an exponentially growing source of abundance is available for you right now. Thus, this spirit animal dictates that you must use your keen eyesight to see the way. In other words, never give up. Alternatively, the fly symbolism could be reminding you that your persistence in reaching your goals will bear fruit sooner than later. Moreover, this will happen even if it means that you have to annoy others or be selfish for a while. So in other words, you do have the ability to accomplish your goals. Now, that in of itself may sound pretty general, but let me tell you why it speaks to me. I have been building Purrrfectly Holistic for 6 years, working full-time job, working this business. It feels like full-time because it literally consumed every free moment of my day that I wasn't in a full-time job. And so I have been seeking to be able to break away from the full-time and just really focus 100% on Purrrfectly Holistic and being a resource for cat parents and cats all over the world, because I really feel like that is my calling, and that is something that I've been working really hard to develop and to build. So to get a message like this was pretty cool, because on my birthday, we sold our house, and the week of Christmas, I turned in my resignation at the full-time job. I was there for 28 years. That's a really long time. And leaving the fitness industry after 37 years, that's a really long time to be in an industry. And to have the courage to trust the universe, trust God, walk away from that and know that this is the path. The doors kept opening. The sale of the house, it's not quite finished, but it's almost finished. And to see how I was able to find the perfect house for me to lease right now. And how that all developed was really cool. And I got the perfect landlord who loves my cats, doesn't mind to have cats. He doesn't care how many cats I have. I got the yard. I got the space for the outdoors. It was just like everything falling into place. And then I actually had my final day that I retired from the fitness industry on January 7th, which was a little over a week ago. So to see how the universe just kind of puts you on a path, and when your timing is right, and it is time for you to manifest everything that you've been working so very hard for years to build, and to have all of a sudden those doors fly open and you feel like you're being pushed forward, just like you're on a roller coaster. It's like, hold on, here we go, because it's rolling. And that's the message of the fly to me. And I think it's so very, very cool. When I was reading this and all of these things were just clicking in my head, connecting the dots, it's pretty amazing. So if you have never done anything like that, and if you've never explored animal totems or animal symbolisms, it's really, really powerful. So try it, because I think you would be really, really surprised the messages that just simple things can come forth through something as simple as a fly being in your house. That is not a normal thing. So anyway, I wanted to share that. And then we have a little guest here. So everyone say hi to Aylin. This is my needy girl. Let's say hi to Aylin. Say hi, baby. Say, what you doing? Oh, she's being a good girl. She's being so good. Oh my gosh. I think she likes our new house. Yes, ma'am. You're being so cute. Yes. Say hello. Hello, everybody. Yeah. So, anywho, you can hang out with us while we're here? Okay. She can hang out. So anyway, if you guys have ever done anything like the animal totems before or gotten messages, drop it in the comments, because it's really, really powerful. And I encourage you to start looking for signs that kind of seem or things that kind of seem out of place, that you can go in and just look them up, and just ask, is there a message here for me? And when you look it up, let's say you see a strange bird that you've never seen before, or you see a strange insect that really, really caught your eye, or you see a white dove that's very, very unusual, that, maybe you keep seeing it over and over again. And it doesn't have to be in real life. It might be a photo of something that you see that keeps coming back into your path. That's when you need to stop and go, wait a minute, there might be a message here. And then when you look it up, if there's a message, something will resonate with you in those meanings. And it's the coolest thing. And I really think that that's the way the universe or God tries to, or one of the ways they try to communicate with us and tell us, hey, you're on the right path, or no, watch out because you're on the wrong path, or, whatever it might be. But there's messages. We just have to slow down. We have to tune in and really connect with source, really connect with ourselves inside, block out the world around us that's trying to distract from everything, and pay attention, because there are signs all around us. We just have to wake up to them. So let me know if you've ever done that before, because it's really, really cool. Okay, so I am going to move on. If you guys have any questions, be sure to drop them in here. And I'm going to check something real quick. Okay. Here we go. So Kendra in Ontario is going through a move with 2 cats who have never been outside or in the car except for vet visits. So they are quite stressed with the physical changes in their environment and have started peeing on the bed covers and expensive boots. Okay. So she wants any advice. Kendra, I know this is really hard. So first of all, stress can trigger UTIs in cats. So make sure that you're not dealing with some kind of a UTI or cystitis. So you may want to just take them to the vet just to make sure that there's no underlying health condition. Cats are really good at hiding their stress, and they'll start to do things like peeing on your bed or peeing on your boots or, stuff like that. They're trying to send you a message. They're trying to show you something's wrong, something's off. It's not that they're trying to be evil or, angry necessarily, but it's a sign that we need to pay attention. So check and make sure you can rule out an underlying health condition. And then make sure that, one of my favorites is color therapy. So the color green, think of like a Kelly green, a medium color green. You can put a blanket, you can put a bed, you can put a towel. If you have a throw pillow that's green, if you have a shirt that's a Kelly green, any piece of clothing, you can put it on their favorite places to sit and hang out. And it's very grounding. So it gives them the energetics, the vibration of the color green is very grounding, and it provides a sense of security and calmness. So try using that, because that can be incredible, really. They don't even have to see the color. It's the vibrational energy that the color gives off, that they're attracted to. And it's interesting because cats know, and they will just gravitate toward those colors. So try that. And then there is a product that I have used in the past called Animal Relief Formula. I actually carry it at Perfectly Holistic at the shop.perfectlyholistic.com. And it is a flower essence blend for cats in transition. So cats moving, cats going from a shelter to a home situation, cats who have been rehomed, new household, old household to new owners perhaps, cats who've gone through traumatic stuff, maybe fights or serious illness or some kind of abusive situations. So Animal Relief Formula is also very good. And I know that they make the plugins with the synthetic pheromones. I'm not a fan of synthetics, but if you want to try them, you can always try those. It's just plug in. I think it's got fill away. So that might be something. And I do like using herbs like lavender. I think comfrey is one that can be very calming as well. And if you go to naturallycats.com, Julianne Thorne with Naturally Cats has some kits that are really broken down. It's zoopharmacognosy, which is cats self-selecting the herbs that they need to fill whatever their needs are. And you can just basically put these organic herbs, dried herbs, out on a towel and let them self-select to see what they need to feel more calm or secure or whatever the case may be. So you may want to explore looking at some of those, and just try to keep their routine as normal as possible. Add some extra play sessions in there, because that really helps reduce their stress and anxiety. And that's what I would start with. It's a lot. Just remember, it's a lot. And if we have to figure out how to deal with our own stress too. So if you're very stressful, your cats pick up on your stress. So just be mindful. If you're not dealing with your stress in healthy, productive ways, they will tend to take that stuff on for you out of love and care. And then those can manifest symptoms. So just be cautious of that. So we have to take care of our stress as well. Okay, so Allison is a cat mom of a Siamese mix named Baja. She's been trying to take her in short, non-vet related car rides, but she freaks out every time halfway through the ride and poops in the car. I know. She wants to know if she should give up on car rides with Baja. I think, if you have a specific reason that you're trying to do those short rides, are you preparing for a trip? Are you preparing for something else, like a move or something like that, that's going to be important for them to be in the car. I totally get it. Now, maybe she gets nauseous or something, and that's when her tummy gets all upset. If that's the case, you can use a homeopathic called Nux Vomica, and you can make a remedy up. You dissolve 3 pellets in about half a cup of water. Take a syringe, pull out half a milliliter. It's not that much. And then succuss it really hard against your palm about 10 to 12 times, and then squirt it in her mouth. And you can do that every 15 minutes in like acute emergency situations. So for some car rides, for some cats doing car rides, you might need to do it like every 15 minutes until they can calm down. You can use flower essences the same way. The box flower rescue remedy is really good. The same way, every 15 minutes until they can calm down, because it's that anxiety. Use the color therapy in like the blue if they're fearful. It sounds like she's really fearful. So yeah, try that. And just if it's really essential to you that you want to keep trying for a specific purpose, then try those tips and see if that really helps, because it can make a huge difference. You just have to remember, put yourself in your cat's position. They don't know what's going on. And here's another thing that you can try. It's going to sound a little crazy, but I don't know. You guys in the audience probably know that this isn't crazy. Animal communication sessions before big events, like a move, like a long car trip, can go a long way. I have a dear friend who was going to drive her cats from Texas to Colorado for the entire summer. And they were going to be in, what do you call you're pulling the trailer, like the big travel trailer, whatever. And they were going to be just, going all over Colorado, and they were taking their cats. So she did animal communication sessions for each cat before they left. And she said that was the easiest trip she has ever had. It was seamless. The cats did great. Nobody got sick. Nobody got upset. They were just calm, like, oh, where are we going? This is fun. So that is something that can be very, very powerful, just to let them know, hey, this is going on. This is what you can expect. This is how long it will take. And, we're all together. We're going as a family. We're not going to leave you anywhere. And I think that might be something that you can also try for the big stuff. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so Andrea in New York is asking if I know how to get the smell of cat urine out of things. Andrea, you're going to need to get a really good enzyme cleaner. They make really good pet enzyme cleaners. I can't remember the name of the product that I'm currently using. I know that there are several on the market. So if you Google pet enzyme cleaners, stain and smell, something to that effect. I know there's a lot of different ones out there. If you can find something with have the oxygen in it, that tends to work really, really well. What you do is you soak up as much of the urine the first time it happens as you can, just like pressing into it to soak it all up, and then spray that or squirt that enzyme cleaner all over the area and let it sit there. You might even let it sit there for like 15, 20 minutes, and you may have to do it several times. Wash it out, do it again. So that's really the best way I know how to get urine smells out of stuff. But yeah, you want to definitely get those out of there. Otherwise, they keep going back to that area. So David in the UK, I have seen that some people are able to acclimate their cats to walking harnesses and walk them outside. That would be me. My cat sees the harness as full-on war. Is there anything I can do to help her like the idea? I think you have to honor the cat. I have 3, and 2 are just those personalities that they want to go out, they want to explore, they're outside, and the other one is like, no, I'm fine staying indoors. Thank you very much. So first of all, honor the personality of the cat. If your cat is really, really afraid of being outside the home, ask yourself, is it that important? If you have a cat that's like more curious and wants to go check things out, try putting the harness on inside and just get them used to wearing the harness. And don't take them outside yet. And you have to kind of go slowly with some cats. With my 2, I basically put them in a harness, put them on a short leash, and put them out on the driveway and just let them kind of look around and smell everything and walk around. And I just walked around with them. And then when they got used to it, I got them a 25-foot leash and tethered it to one of the doors. And so they couldn't really go anywhere. They could go so far, and that's about as far as they could go. So that was fine. You have to really honor the cat. So I would say, look at the personality. If it's really, really stressing the cat out, then it's not worth your relationship. So that's my best advice on that. So Maria in Toronto says, my vet seems to be overcharging and be all about the money. I also don't think the things they prescribe are truly healthy. What I'd like to find is a naturopathic version of a vet. Does such a thing exist? Maria, yes, there are. I do some of that work myself, energetics. I learned a lot from naturopaths. That's where I get a lot of my training. And if you go to, there may be something in Canada like that's similar to this, but if you Google AHVMA, the American Holistic Veterinary Medical Association, on their website, it does have a find a vet search. And I know it's for the United States, but if there might be something like that in Canada, you're just going to have to look and see if there is an online holistic vet resource organization that holistic vets belong to, like a directory that you can search and find one close to your area. But I will tell you, a lot of holistic vets and integrative vets do telemedicine. So it doesn't matter where you live, even if you need to use your local one for like blood draws and your major things like x-rays and ultrasounds and things like that, you can consult with holistic vets who do telemedicine and consultations through the internet, through meetings. That's the day and age that we live in. So I have a really good one. Dr. Katie Woodley with the Natural Pet Doctor. She does telemedicine and she's amazing. So she might be somebody that you can check out. She's not a naturopath, but she is holistically trained veterinarian, and she's really, really great. So clients love her a lot. So that might be something to look at. Let me think if there was anything else, but I totally understand, I am living in a new town now, and it's a much smaller town than what I lived in before, 4 million people, and now I'm down to like 80,000. Okay, so I am having the same search issues. I've got to find a vet. I've got to find, service providers for myself, and it's going to take a little research and a little time. Look at reviews. See if you can find on their website, if their websites are going to say like the first thing is vaccine, and all these things like heartworm and flea tick stuff. It's like, no, thank you. Next. Because if that's what they're promoting on their website, like really big, then I don't want it. I want someone who's not going to promote that. I want to see other services that they offer that are integrative. Even herbal medicine, homeopathy, muscle testing, acupuncture, laser therapy, ozone therapy. There's a bunch of different things, but you're going to have to do some research, and you may have to go to partner with an integrative holistic vet with telemedicine with your local vet for the other things. So yeah, it is very, very, very challenging sometimes. So, okay. So what we're going to wrap up with here is I've got some really cool events coming up I wanted to share with you guys. So this Friday night, if you want to learn from a really cool holistic homeopathic vet, Dr. Jeff Feynman is going to join us on Purrrfectly Holistic. Actually, I'm going to broadcast it again, so on the channels, so you can watch it. You can watch our show interview. We're going to talk about deciphering GI issues and symptoms, deciphering symptoms of GI issues in cats. And so he has got a wealth of information. he's been working veterinary medicine and holistic medicine and homeopathy, which is like my favorite, for years and has a ton of experience. And so we're going to be able to take your questions if you have specific questions about certain GI problems, digestive issues, or whatever. We're going to discuss a lot of those most common ones, and then symptoms, and then like next steps. How do you determine what you need to use? What kind of supplements? What kind of natural meds do you need to combine? Other things, maybe some conventional medicine with natural medicine to make it more effective. So we're going to be having that open discussion on Friday night, 7 o'clock Central Time. And I'm really looking forward to that. And then next Wednesday, if you guys are around 11 a.m. Central Time in Texas, I'm going to be on a roundtable with Dr. Katie Woodley, Julianne Thorne of Naturally Cats in the UK, and Jane Adrian, the two crazy cat ladies. And we're going to be discussing detoxing for cats, or healthy detox for cats. Since it's a new year, a new start, it's just a really good time to think about ways that we can detox our cats. They're exposed to all sorts of stuff just like we are, and they are smaller and they are closer to the ground, so they have even more exposure a lot of times than we really think about. So we're going to talk about ways to detox cats in a healthy way and safe way to be very effective and help, so it's going to be a really good discussion if you guys want to join us for the roundtable discussion. And that is going to be on Jane Adrian's Two Crazy Cat Ladies page, and I believe they broadcast on their YouTube channel as well. So follow purrrfectlyholistic.com. If you are on my email list, you're going to get these updates every week. And you can also follow Purrrfectly Holistic on Facebook. We post all of that, as well as Instagram. So great events, live events, socials and stuff. So we will keep you guys posted. And then just know that if you want to get on our email list, you can reach out through purrrfectlyholistic.com. There is an email sign up form there. We're just going to add you. We're not going to spam you. We're not going to sell your information, but you're just going to get updates, interesting articles, videos every week, and some, things going on through the store, promotions and things like that. And would love to be a resource for you and your kitties. And in the meantime, y'all have a great rest of your week. And if you have any questions, you can always just email me directly at pam@purrrfectlyholistic.com, purrrfectlyholistic.com. So thank you again for joining tonight. I hope this was helpful. I just try to share what I've learned and what works, what doesn't work, all that good stuff. So thank you guys for tuning in, and we will see you next month for more fun. Thanks again, guys. Have a great night.
Muted.